Surrounded by snarling wolves, a loyal German shepherd stood his ground, refusing to back down. Outnumbered and bleeding, his fate seemed sealed. But just when the end looked certain, a heroic rescue team arrived. What happened next left everyone breathless, proving that courage and loyalty can spark miracles in the wild. The meadow stretched wide under the golden morning sun, its rolling hills dotted with hundreds of sheep grazing peacefully. Their soft bleats blended with the rustle of the breeze, painting a picture of calm. But at the edge of the flock stood their protector, a powerful German shepherd, alert and unwavering. His amber eyes scanned the horizon, ears pricked for the faintest sound. He was no ordinary herding dog. He was a guardian, trained and devoted to keeping the flock safe from predators. Every movement of the sheep drew his watchful gaze. Every shift in the wind sharpened his instincts to the flock. He was silent assurance. Whenever they wandered too far, he guided them back, nudging them gently with his nose or barking sharply to keep order. Alone in the vast field, he carried a responsibility far greater than himself. Yet, behind the peace of the meadow, danger brewed. From the shadow of the distant tree line, unseen eyes watched. A faint howl echoed across the valley, carried on the wind. The German shepherd's muscles tensed. His tail stiffened. Something was coming, and he was ready to face it, no matter the cost. The first sign of danger came as silence. The cheerful bleating of the sheep faded, replaced by an unnatural stillness that rippled through the meadow. The German shepherd's ears flicked forward, nose lifting as he caught a scent carried on the wind. Musky, sharp, unmistakable. Wolves. From the edge of the forest, shadows began to move. A pair of glowing eyes emerged, then another, and another. Soon, gray figures padded into view, their movements low and deliberate. The pack was hungry, their lips curling back to reveal sharp fangs as they circled closer. The sheep huddled together nervously, their panic rising. The shepherd rushed forward, planting himself firmly between the flock and the advancing predators. His chest swelled, a deep growl rolling through his throat. The wolves fanned out, testing his resolve, their bodies sleek and powerful. The standoff grew tense. Predators against protector, hunger against loyalty. The shepherd's paws dug into the grass, his eyes never leaving theirs. He knew what was coming. The wolves would not back down easily, and when they struck, he would be the only thing standing between life and slaughter. The wolves lunged first, their snarls ripping through the still air. In an instant, the meadow erupted into chaos. The German shepherd launched forward, meeting the lead wolf head-on. His teeth sank into its shoulder, forcing a yelp of pain as the others circled closer. The sheep scattered in panic, their hooves pounding the earth. But the shepherd never looked back. Every ounce of his strength was focused on the predators. He snapped at one wolf's muzzle, then spun to block another that darted toward the flock. His body became a shield, a wall of courage between the helpless and the hungry. Claws raked across his flank, leaving lines of crimson, but he didn't falter. His barks thundered across the meadow, echoing with defiance. One by one, the wolves tested him, only to be driven back by his fearless charge. Though outnumbered, the shepherd fought with a fire that stunned even the predators. His legs trembled from the strain, but his spirit held firm. He would not allow a single sheep to be taken, not while he still drew breath. For every snap of their jaws, he answered with his own. The battle raged on, and the shepherd's breaths grew ragged. His once proud stance now wavered as blood stained his fur. Each movement cost him dearly, yet he refused to retreat. The wolves sensed his weakening strength, their growls growing bolder as they closed in tighter. One wolf lunged at his side, knocking him to the ground. Pain shot through his body, but with a defiant snarl he forced himself up, teeth flashing as he drove the attacker back. His legs trembled, his vision blurred, yet his focus never left the flock gathered behind him. The sheep pressed together, terrified but untouched, their guardian standing like a battered wall before them. The shepherd staggered, panting heavily, but his spirit blazed brighter than his wounds. He knew he could fall at any moment, but surrender was not an option. This was his duty, his purpose. Even alone, even broken, he would fight until his last breath. Just when the shepherd's strength seemed ready to give out, a powerful beam of light swept across the meadow. Shouts echoed from the distance, carried on the wind. The wolves froze, their ears twitching as new sounds broke the night. Boots pounding the earth, metal clinking, human voices calling out. The shepherd lifted his head, chest heaving, his ears straining. Out of the darkness emerged a team of rescuers, rangers armed with rifles and flashlights, their uniforms marked with determination. The moment they saw the bleeding dog holding back a circle of wolves, their faces hardened. Without hesitation, they charged forward. "Over here," one ranger shouted, raising his weapon to the sky and firing a warning shot. The crack split the night, and the wolves flinched, their snarls faltering. The team spread wide, their shouts and lights cutting through the chaos. The shepherd staggered back, exhausted, but his tail lifted weakly. He was no longer alone. For the first time since the attack began, hope flickered in the meadow. The fight was not finished, but now he had allies by his side. The wolves hesitated, their circle breaking as the rescuers advanced. Flashlights cut through the darkness, beams landing directly on snarling muzzles and gleaming fangs. One ranger clapped loudly, shouting commands to drive them back. Another fired a second shot into the air, the sound booming across the valley. The shepherd, though battered and bleeding, refused to collapse. Summoning the last of his strength, he surged forward with a fierce bark, snapping at a wolf that lingered too close. His sudden defiance reignited the standoff, giving the rescuers time to push in tighter. Together, man and dog formed a line of defense. The wolves growled and paced, their hunger battling their fear. But the combined force of flashing lights, booming shouts, and the shepherd's relentless spirit proved too much. Slowly, reluctantly, the predators began to retreat, their glowing eyes fading back into the tree-line. Silence swept over the meadow once more. The danger had passed. The flock was safe. But the brave shepherd, his legs trembling, finally gave way, collapsing into the grass with a heavy sigh. The meadow was quiet now, save for the soft bleats of frightened sheep. The rescuers hurried toward the fallen shepherd, kneeling beside him as his chest rose and fell in shallow breaths. Blood matted his fur, but his eyes remained open, still searching for the flock he had sworn to protect. One ranger placed a steady hand on his side, whispering, "Easy, boy. You did it. They're safe." The shepherd's ears twitched faintly, as if he understood. The flock slowly calmed, gathering closer, their guardian scent reassuring them even in his weakened state. The team worked quickly, wrapping his wounds with cloth and lifting him gently onto a stretcher. He whimpered softly, but there was no fear in his eyes, only exhaustion. Around him, the rescuers exchanged looks of awe. They knew they hadn't just saved a dog tonight. They had witnessed a hero, one who had stood alone against the wild and refused to yield. The veterinary clinic. The German shepherd lay wrapped in clean bandages, his breath steady at last. The rescuers stood nearby, watching with quiet admiration as the dog's tail flicked weakly, still eager to serve even in his pain. News of his bravery spread quickly. To the villagers, he was no longer just a guard dog. He was a legend, a symbol of loyalty and courage. Children left flowers outside the clinic, and farmers vowed their flocks owed their safety to him. Though scars marked his body, his spirit remained unbroken. The meadow would always remember the night he stood alone against the wild. And now, his name lived on, not as a victim, but as a hero.